Everyone thinks phone records tell you where someone was. They don't. They tell you what the network decided to do. And in this case, that difference changed everything. Most people think cases collapse because of something big: a confession, a weapon, a witness who breaks. But some cases become unwinnable because of something quieter. A system gets asked to do something it cannot do. And once a court treats the system like it's a GPS, the case stops being flexible. Here's where cases actually break: when possible gets presented as proven. In this case, the belief that had to survive was simple. The phone places him, the call records confirm where he was. So the defense claim becomes this: if the phone doesn't place him, the timeline doesn't hold. That sounds minor. It wasn't. Because once a timeline is placed, everything else becomes decoration. A lot was talked about in this case: motive, background, people's opinions, everything around it. None of that decided it. The case didn't need a perfect story. It needed one technical assumption to look certain. There's a detail sitting inside the phone records. It's not dramatic. It's not even about what was said. It's about what kind of call it was: incoming versus outgoing. And that distinction is where the case starts to slip. Here's a contradiction. When people hear cell towers, they assume location. But cell towers don't work like courtroom certainty. They work like network routing. Outgoing calls are initiated by the phone. Incoming calls are handled by the network. And the network's goal is not accuracy, it's connection. From this point on, there was no clean answer. Because an incoming call can be routed by availability, not by the phone's exact position. And here's where the defense gets trapped. If the state uses incoming calls to place someone, the defense can't disprove the narrative with a better story. They have to disprove the assumption. And that's a hard fight, because on paper, it looks clean. Tower hit equals location. But the moment you question that, every backup explanation gets worse. Because the state can't say it placed him exactly. They could only say it's consistent with. And consistent with is not a lock. Once this existed, everything else stopped mattering. Because the timeline was built on certainty it didn't actually have. After this, the jury didn't need to resolve every question. Because the case wasn't argued as, here's one possible timeline. It was argued as, the records confirm it. So if the records don't confirm it the way they're being used, the court isn't looking at a solved timeline anymore. It's looking at an interpretation, not proof. This case didn't become unwinnable because of motive. It didn't become unwinnable because of emotion. It became unwinnable because a network was treated like a map. Incoming calls were used to place a person. But incoming calls don't place people. They route signals. Coverage is not location. Possible is not proven. And that was the fatal detail.